This boy will be special and great. When Daddy told me that, it was the biggest gift he ever gave me. In the winter of 1990, Air Jamaica flew my mother, my 5-year-old sister, and 7-year-old me to the US to live with my daddy. My sister and I ran into his arms when we saw him at JFK International Airport. He and Mommy kissed, it snowed the next day, and Daddy woke us up to take our first milk. I was happy we were finally able to live together as a family. But Irvin, the father I had previously known mostly through phone conversations and his periodic visits from the States to Jamaica, would soon turn into a monster. Throughout my childhood, my father verbally and physically abused my mother. As a damaged and poorly educated father of childhood abuse, abandonment, and neglect, my mother adapted to the violence but felt trapped in the relationship. She would never press charges many times police were called to the house. Each year passed with new promises that things would change and would get better, but they only got worse. I grew to hate my father so much that I began wishing for his demise, even cursing God for saving his life when he was critically injured while working as a construction worker at the World Trade Center following its 1993 bombing. The sight and sound of him made me sick. He so repulsed me that I spat into lemonade he made for him one hot summer day. I enjoyed watching him swallow every drop. The turning point for me came one night in 1996 during my freshman year of high school. He and Mommy had gotten into an argument while I sat watching the television amidst the commotion. The next thing I knew, a butt-naked and dripping wet Irvin stormed from the bathroom to the kitchen. Enraged, he pinned my mother between the opening of the refrigerator and the wall, and wailed on her as my siblings and I yelled, cried, and tried to pull him off, even taking some of the blows ourselves. Feeling powerless, I grabbed a knife, thinking of committing some dreadful crime, and threatened to stab him with it. He was undeterred. All I wanted to do was rid our world of him, but as I grazed his arm with the blade, the living tenant in our house dislodged the knife from my hand. Finally, Irvin stopped and returned to the bathroom. That was the last time he tried to beat my mom in my presence. I wanted to rescue my mother and my siblings from Irvin forever, but I had nerves of my own cross. By the time I was 5 years old, I knew I was gay. Many days I even wished I had been born a girl. Sometimes I simply wished I had never been born. As an effeminate boy living in New York City with Jamaican parents, everyday life posed challenges. When the song Don't Lie Bye was released in 1988 by then 15-year-old dancehall reggae superstar George Bottom, I was 5 years old and still living in Jamaica. Though it was a major hit, I do not remember the song from that period. What I do remember is having my first homosexual encounter at that age with a friend who was only a couple of years older than me. One day we played house. I was mom, and he was daddy, and our younger siblings played the roles of our children. I enjoyed the role of woman, and I used the shirt to give me long hair. As strict parents, my husband and I sent the children to bed, and we made love in private. We kissed, and I put it in my mouth and I sucked it. Our imaginations ran wild. The experience only happened once, but I liked it. Fortunately, we were not caught, and neither one of us told anyone. Banton's song was re-released when I was 9 years old, while my family was living in East New York, Brooklyn. Life in America had not turned out as I expected. My father had let me down, and the kids at school and in my community were bullying me for being foreign. It became difficult for me to form friendships, but what affected me most were my developing feelings of attraction to boys that I tried to hide. What I could not hide, however, was my feminine nature. Perhaps I could hide it from my family, but not from my peers. To a group of boys in my school and in my neighborhood, I was a body boy that needed to be shot with Buju Banton himself, urged to boom bye-bye. The world is in trouble in time Buju Banton home, but you wipe up and gone. A gun to their head back. Tell them no fool. It's like boom bye-bye, na bati boy. Boy na go na si mame na dead. The average member of the reggae dancehall community culture knows the message that song is sending to its listeners. Translated, the lyrics read, the world is in trouble when Buju Banton arrives. Faggots have to run or get a bullet in the head. Bang, bang. In the faggot's head, homeboys don't condone nasty men. they must die. Thank you.